Greetings. Today, the first thing I would like to do is to thank everybody that has supported me throughout the past year. There may be a few of you that fully understand the situation that I speak of, and I am so grateful for all the support and encouragement that you've given to me. Most of you already know that it has been successful, and once again I do really appreciate the support. Today I would like to speak to you all about applying for a spouse visa. All the information that I refer to you is currently on gov.uk, so I would encourage you to familiarise yourself in the information there, cross-reference it with what I tell you, and just be fluent in the information outside of this content. Make sure that you yourself, you go and you do your own research and study the points that I've made on the gov.uk website, so you have your own reference points and you have your own understanding of the information that's been put out there. Also, I'd like to remind you that at times they do update information, so I am giving information that's correct at the time of this recording. However, I would definitely encourage you to go online to gov.uk and find out and make sure that the information still stands as we speak. Applying for your spouse visa. Number 1, you both need to be over 18. Number 2, your partner either needs to be a British or Irish citizen. There are other criteria that can be addressed. Number 1, you both need to be age over 18 at the time of the application. This doesn't mean you can't prepare before you're 18. You can prepare all you like before the age of 18, whether it's 17, 17 and a half. However, at the time of the application, you both need to be over 18. Number 1. Number 2, one of you needs to be, the person applying, your partner needs to be a British citizen or Irish citizen or any of this criteria. I'll just put it up here, and that is from the gov.uk website. So either British, Irish citizen or any of these in order to be eligible to apply. As you can see from the list, if your partner has settled or has a pre-settlement under the EU settlement scheme, that's a separate application that you can do free of charge. So if your partner is eligible under the settlement or pre-settlement scheme, EU settlement scheme, you can apply free of charge. What you'll need to prove. So as part of the application, these are the things that you will need to prove. You're in a civil partnership or marriage that's recognised in the UK. You've been living together in a relationship for at least 2 years when you apply. You are a fiancé, fiancée, or proposed civil partner and will marry or enter into a civil partnership in the UK within 6 months of arriving. You've been in a relationship for at least 2 years when you apply, but you cannot live together. For example, because you're working or studying in different places, or it's not accepted in your culture. You also need to prove you have a good English. That was not good English. But you also need to prove that you have a good knowledge of English and can financially support yourself and your dependents. If you do not meet these requirements, you may still be able to apply for a visa or extend your permission to stay if you have a child in the UK who is a British or Irish citizen or has lived in the UK for 7 years, and it would be unreasonable for them to leave the UK. It would breach your human rights to stop you coming to the UK or make you leave. If you're applying as a fiancé, fiancée, or proposed civil partner, you must prove that any previous marriages or civil partnerships have ended. You plan to marry or become civil partners within 6 months of arriving in the UK. Please note, you will not be able to work or study during your engagement. You need to apply for permission to extend your stay in the UK when you marry or enter into a civil partnership. If your application is approved, you will have the right to work or study in the UK. So these are the requirements. These are the criteria that needs to be adhered to at the point of making an application. As you can see, there are different caveats, there are different scenarios. They've given quite, I believe, they've given some room to maneuver in different aspects of relationships, because as we all know, in some cultures and some situations, couples do not live together before marriage, so they would not have proof of living together. However, that doesn't exclude you from making an application. In another case, in another scenario that's been addressed, the couple may live in 2 different countries. One might be working in one country, one might be studying. So the couple may be in 2 separate places, which would prevent them from producing any evidence of living together, etc. However, there are alternatives that you're able to provide alongside your application in order for it to be successful. The next point is how to prove your relationship. Now, this is the fun part. So, evidence comes in different categories. So you have strong evidence, you have good evidence, you have, to be honest, I've forgotten how it goes, but I'll find out for you. Evidence that comes from the government, a bank, landlord, utility provider, or medical professional is strong evidence. I'll say that again. Evidence that comes from the government, a bank, a landlord, utility provider, or medical professional comes under strong evidence. So a bank statement will be strong evidence. A gas bill, a bill charging for electric, strong evidence. Tenancy agreement from the landlord, again, strong evidence. Or a letter from a doctor, a nurse, etc., a medical professional, strong evidence. You can use things like a marriage certificate, tenancy bills, bank statement, letter. If you don't have any of this evidence, however, all is not lost. There are other types of evidence that you can produce. It may be a one-off bill, vet's fees or home repair costs. It may be letters confirming you and your partner are both on the voting register for the same address. It could be student finance paperwork confirming that you live at the same address. If you do not live together because of work or study or for cultural reasons, you'll need to prove you have an ongoing commitment to each other. So this is where it speaks to lots of people, because as I said earlier, for religious reasons, personal reasons, spiritual reasons, just logistic reasons, some couples do not stay together, so this would exclude them. However, it does not rule you out. If you do not live together, you can provide evidence that you communicate on a regular basis with each other, you support each other financially, you care for any children you have together, or you spend time together as a couple, for example, on holiday or at events. Communicate on a regular basis with each other. This could be WhatsApp messages. If you're constantly in contact with your partner, and you can export the chat from WhatsApp actually, and you can download that to become a document, a PDF or what have you, and provide that as evidence, that would count as good evidence. If you support each other financially, for example, you may use any of the money transfer apps, for example, UnityLink, Remitly, TapTapSend. You will have evidence of sending finances to that person, so that would count. If you don't use those things and you send it by some other means, make sure you do have a receipt, because that in itself is proof of supporting your partner financially, which can be sent in as part of your submission. If you both care for any children you have together, so that could be paying school fees, buying things for school, attending parents' evening, buying uniform, so just evidence of you providing for the child you have with your partner, that as well can be submitted as evidence. And spending time together as a couple, for example, on holiday or at events. So you can take pictures together when you are able to travel and go overseas to see your partner, using those pictures when you're out and about and having fun and what have you, spending time with family. Taking pictures at those events also counts as evidence. We'll be going through other criteria they have, so it's not well known, but you can actually find support within the UK of somebody that can help you complete the application online. You can apply for a fee waiver if perhaps you can't afford the immigration fee. You can apply for a waiver, which perhaps may mean you get a discount. It's not 100%, but there is an opportunity to apply for that. Those are things that I will record to be out by next week. If you do have any questions on anything else regarding the spouse visa, I can address those things also. But this is just an introduction into how to apply for your spouse visa successfully. Thank you.